Hello, I'm continuing my reviews on the Halloween series with Halloween H20. Now, Halloween H20 is the 7th film in the Halloween series, and as you can see, I have it on this DVD where it comes with Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers and Halloween Resurrection. Now, Halloween H20 is what most people would probably call a revival of the series because, because Halloween 4, 5, and 6, after Halloween 4, the series really started to go downhill. Even though I like Halloween 6 as a guilty pleasure, that movie is definitely a very stupid movie, and I can definitely understand why people hate that movie. So, and even though Halloween 4 I do think is a good movie, you can definitely see the series starting to go downhill with Halloween 4. So this movie, Halloween H20, it ignores the continuity of Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Essentially, it's kind of like a reboot of the series, like, it's a direct sequel to Halloween 1 and 2, and it ignores the continuity of everything that happened in between. And of course, Halloween 3 had nothing to do with the whole series, so, this movie, it ignores the continuity of Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Now, at the end of Halloween 2, you saw Michael Myers burn, and you were supposed to assume he burnt to death, and, in this movie, it's set 20 years after the events of Halloween 1 and 2. Now, in this movie, Jamie Lee Curtis, she reprises her role as the character of Laurie Strode, and what happens is, in the movie, you find out that a few years ago, she actually faked her own death, and she's now living under an alias, and the only person who knows who she really is her son, and now she's like the head mistress of this private school, and basically, what happens is, and in the movie does a really good job at establishing the relationship between Laurie Strode and her son, and you can tell that, and in the movie, you can tell that her son has definitely put up with her for a lot of years, and and you can tell that that he has definitely been kind of oppressed by her, like, you find out that in the movie that she never lets him go out, and in a lot of ways, though, you can't really blame her because, because of all the shit she's been through, and in the movie, you find out that they never found Michael Myers' body, so, so you definitely don't blame her for being the way she is, but at the same time, you definitely feel sorry for her son, because, he's definitely had to put up with a lot from her over the years, but, the movie does a really good job at establishing the relationship between these two characters, but, like, in the movie, Laurie Strode, she's, like, having nightmares of Michael Myers coming back for her, and, and the movie's really, the movie really does do a good job at focusing on her character. Now, what happens in the movie is, the basic plot line of the movie is now Michael Myers has in fact come back, and now he's found her at this private school, and what happens is now Michael Myers is going after her son and his friends. That's the basic plot line of the movie, but I enjoyed Halloween H20. I definitely thought it was a pretty good addition to the series. Even though I like Halloween 6 as a guilty pleasure, I do think it was definitely a good idea to ignore the continuity of Halloween 4, 5, and 6. Now, what was I gonna say? Now, the movie is directed by Steve Miner, who also directed movies like Friday the 13th Part 2 and Friday the 13th Part 3. He also directed Lake Placid, and he unfortunately directed that Day of the Dead remake, which I've heard was horrible, but I haven't seen it yet, and to be honest, I have no interest in seeing that movie. But he does a good job with directing the movie. But from what I heard, originally Jamie Lee Curtis, she actually wanted John Carpenter to direct this movie, and that would have been really interesting to see how John Carpenter would have made this movie. But for what Steve Miner does, I think he does a good job with directing. The movie also has Janet Leigh in it. Now, Janet Leigh, of course, is Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, and what's interesting is I think this is one of the few times that Jamie Lee Curtis and her mother, Janet Leigh, have actually appeared in the same movie together. I know they were both in the movie The Fog together, but I don't know if they were ever in any other movies together besides this movie and The Fog. I could be wrong on that, but I'm not sure, though. And what's interesting also is Joseph Gordon-Levitt is actually in this movie, but he only appears in the beginning of the movie, and I think this was before he became a really big star, but that was really interesting seeing him in the movie. But yeah, Halloween H20 I think is a good addition to the series. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it, and